Su atención, por favor. Antes de la pelea estelar, queremos presentar esta noche a grandes figuras. Tenemos con nosotros a tres ex campeones mundiales. El ex campeón mundial de los semipesados, Bob Foster. El ex campeón mundial de la categoría gallo, Richie Sandoval. Y el triple campeón mundial, Alexis Arguello. Pelea estrella de la noche. En esta pelea serán jurados los señores Jerry Hansen, Paul Brown y Paul Smith. Pelea a 12 rounds por el título de los pesos ligeros de Norteamérica. Director del Comité de Campeonatos de la NABF, el señor Dwayne Ford. Supervisores, los señores Sammy Macía y Paul Smith. Referir este combate, Nefi Quintana. Introduzco a los principales. En la esquina roja, con pantaloncillos gris y rojos y un récord de 26 peleas ganadas, 6 perdidas, 2 empates con 25 knockouts y un peso de 132 libras y media de Nashville, Texas. Les presento al rebelde del sur, Chris Calvin. De Nashville, Texas. El rebelde de South, Chris Calvin. En la esquina azul, con pantaloncillos color rojo y un récord de 34 peleas ganadas, 6 perdidos, 0 empates, 23 knockouts y un peso de 135 libras. De Durango, México, quien reside ahora en Albuquerque, Nuevo México. Les presento el campeón de los ligeros de Norteamérica, PRIMO Ramos. En the blue corner, from Durango, México, PRIMO Ramos.
Okay, boxing fans, the introductions are out of the way and we are all set for a 12-rounder. This is for the NABF lightweight title. The champion, PRIMO Ramos, and his opponent, his challenger, will be the Southern Rebel, Chris Calvin. Boxing coming to you from the Lujan Pavilion here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dan Cisneros at ringside. You're watching the 8-Count Boxing Hour on Channel 27. There's the bell. Round 1 is underway. Chris Calvin in the gray trunks with the red trim. Moving forward. The man you see working around the outside of the ring in the red trunks. Defending NABF lightweight champion, PRIMO Ramos. Chris Calvin, the big knockout artist, 24 wins and scoring 23 of those by knockout. A dangerous puncher, no doubt. Definitely, though, stepping up in class against world-class PRIMO Ramos, the Durango kid. You can see Calvin being aggressive, trying to step close to Ramos and land some body shots. Ramos there working with the jab from the outside. PRIMO Ramos, smooth boxer. You can see that he has a nice boxing style. Very, very classy boxing style. Served him well, record of 34-6, winning 25 of those by knockout. So PRIMO with a little bit of pop himself. Chris Calvin has been working his way up the ranks. Comes in with a record of 24 wins, 6 losses, and 2 draws, winning 23 of those by knockout. first shot at a title. And you can see that he's taking it serious. He's really working to get inside against Primo Ramos. Ramos with a good slit defense and lots of movement. He's hard to catch. But it's Chris Calvin being the aggressor, moving forward. And Ramos, you can see him slipping side to side, counter punching. The referee is Nefi Quintana, probably the premier referee in the state of New Mexico, gets the assignment for this NABF title bout. Now you see Calvin trying to work his way in with the jab. There he fires it right to the body, and Ramos ready to counter. Primo Ramos, a solid counter puncher. There you saw a good jab from Ramos. Primo Ramos is tricky because it looks like he's in retreat, but he's always ready to fire a counter shot. Chris Calvin's going to have to watch that. We are in round one. And this one is scheduled for 12 rounds for the title, North American Boxing Federation title. That ends round one. So we're so glad you could join us tonight here on the 8 Count Boxing Hour. A good way to open the show here. Community Cable Channel 27 in Albuquerque, public access to Calvin to be the aggressor, always looking for the knockout punch. And Primo Ramos being the more stylish veteran boxer, moving around the outside, working behind a jab and counter punch. Pavilion here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So glad to be invited out to cover this one for you as we get set for round two. Primo Ramos is a master of distance. He's good at keeping the distance he wants. You'll see him, when he wants to go on the attack, he will step in, and when he doesn't want you to hit him, he slides away. Really nice footwork by Primo Ramos in the red trunks. Chris Calvin is a powerhouse. Just comes forward, always looking for the knockout. He's going to have to be patient, though, and set things up here, as it's going to be hard to catch Ramos with a surprise shot. He's going to have to work his way in. Primo Ramos content to fight at distance. There you see Calvin trying to unload that combination, but just not quite able to get it. Then he gets inside and Ramos ties him up. Primo Ramos knows all the veteran tricks. He's hoping to take Chris Calvin to school in this one. We'll see. Calvin was pretty confident at the pre-fight. He seemed very confident that he had the power to stop Ramos. We'll see what happens. But so far, pretty evenly fought match. There you see Ramos now trying to go down to the body. Neither man's been hurt, neither man down. We're in round two, scheduled for 12. Primo Ramos with a couple of legendary New Mexico figures, Danny Romero Sr. and Bob Foster in his corner. Primo has been training here in Albuquerque for this one. Originally from Durango, Mexico, and then moving over to Chicago, Illinois. Now he set up camp here in Albuquerque. He has been training down at the Hideout Gym here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Danny Romero Sr. running that facility. Again, Chris Calvin continues to be the aggressor, moving in and doing a pretty good job of letting his hands go when he gets close, but Ramos just so good at tying him up. Kind of frustrating Calvin. There you see a nice body shot, left hand to the body by Ramos. He'll just slip that shot every now and then. He slips them in. that ends the round. So as we look into the corner of Primo Ramos, Bob Foster and Danny Romero. So there's the whistle for seconds out. We're ready to start the third round of this one. The NABF lightweight title coming to you here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. Primo Ramos and Chris Calvin. It has been a pretty good even fight so far. Neither man taking control, neither man in command of this one. And you see Calvin now tries to jump in with that right hand and Ramos makes him pay. Now Calvin has Ramos back against the ropes in the corner. And he tries to go to work, but Primo Ramos just ties him up so smartly and just steps out. There you see Ramos trying to rip with that left hand. I'm sure Primo would like to get that body attack going. Calvin always looking for that big right hand. 23 knockouts in 24 wins for Chris Calvin. And at the pre-fight, he was telling everyone that he is counting on his power to be the difference, the knockout power. And there you see Ramos now landing some good shots to the body. Very smart on the part of Primo Ramos, investing in that body work. Again, you'll see him go down to the body, downstairs. Nice body attack by Primo Ramos. Follows Calvin, and now it's Calvin in retreat. Ramos starting to get a little bit more aggressive as Calvin felt those shots and backed up a little bit. Ramos is a wicked body puncher. Now you see Chris Calvin fight his way off the ropes. Calvin just moving forward. But Ramos is not flustered in the least. You can see how calm he is in the ring. Oh, what a ring technician. There's a good right hand from Ramos. And Calvin takes the stance of backing up into the ropes again. I think he felt that one. Chris Calvin not lacking for heart. When he gets hurt, though, he comes firing back. And again, you see Ramos just pecking away with that left hand. There's an uppercut just grazing the head, and a left hand sneaks in. But it's Chris Calvin moving forward now. We are in round 3, scheduled for 12. Referee Nefi Quintana breaking the two. Ramos doing a really nice job of tying up Calvin whenever he gets in too close and Ramos doesn't like what's happening. He just ties him up. And that ends the round. I think that was a pretty good round for Primo Ramos. He just seemed to let his hands go a little bit more, and you can see that he's starting to warm up a little bit. We are all set. And Primo Ramos comes out to engage with Chris Calvin. You're watching the 8-Count Boxing Hour on Community Cable Channel 27 here in Albuquerque, public access to television, bringing you the boxing action of the Duke City. And right now it's the NABF lightweight title. Primo Ramos in the red, Chris Calvin in the gray trunks with the red waistband. And Ramos started to open up just a little bit there in that third round, and now you can see him working with that jab and kind of stepping in a little bit closer, getting a little bit busier. Ramos pretty economical. There's a nice right hand that lands. Oh, and a good one too by Primo Ramos. Catches Calvin. Chris Calvin, though, continues to step forward. And now a chant of Primo. Primo going up from the crowd. Calvin just trying to find a way to catch Ramos. Looking for the knockout punch, but unable to deliver anything threatening Primo Ramos. And actually it's Ramos who just seems really confident. Moving in now. And he has Chris Calvin back on the ropes. I don't think this is what Calvin had in mind when he set up the fight plan for this fight. He fights his way off the ropes, trying to move forward and land those big shots. But Primo Ramos with some nice defensive work in this one. Really looking like the champion he is. Making Calvin work for every shot he can land. And again, there you see Primo Ramos just tying up the left hand of Calvin when he gets him on the ropes there, and then steps out. Calvin being aggressive, but not very effective with that aggression. Not a whole lot of punishment being administered to Primo Ramos. And there you see Calvin missing with a wild right hand. I think a little bit of frustration setting in here on Chris Calvin. And that ends the round. So we're back to the action now, Primo Ramos and Chris Calvin. As we get ready to head into round 5, Primo Ramos starting to show. I think his class is just kind of starting to show. First couple of rounds were pretty close. You can see him just kind of measuring and figuring out what he had in front of him. And right now, the last couple of rounds, Ramos starting to take command. But Chris Calvin continues to be aggressive and look for that big bomb. Again, he has 23 knockouts in his 24 wins. Showing a lot of confidence at the pre-fight presser about his punching power. But so far, Ramos has not tasted that power in any threatening way. And there you see Ramos with that quick left jab, just staying in control of this one. Primo Ramos, really nice boxing tonight in defense of his NABF title. And again, the chant goes up for Primo Ramos. Well, not really a local favorite, but he's a favorite with the locals as he has set up training camp here in Albuquerque. And there you see him again going to the body with that left hand, then gets right back to work with the jab. Trying to bull Ramos forward, but Primo just calmly ties him up and then steps around and does what he wants. Primo Ramos was the lightweight champion of Mexico before winning this North American Boxing Federation title. He's world ranked and definitely world class. Won't be long till he'll be getting a shot at a world title, I'm sure. Of course, he has to get through Chris Calvin here. This fight's not over, as Chris Calvin is so dangerous with his knockout reputation. All but one of his victories by knockout, so he's always dangerous. The Southern Rebel, Chris Calvin, in the gray trunks with the red trim. And there you see Ramos now landing some nice shots, shaking the head of Chris Calvin, and Calvin just kind of steps back a little bit. It's Calvin with the reputation of the knockout power, but it might be Primo Ramos with the bigger punch. I don't know. He's faced the higher quality opposition. So when it's on the outside, it's all Ramos, and when Calvin closes the distance, it's about even, and then Ramos just ties him up. And so Chris Calvin really getting frustrated by the experience of Primo Ramos. That ends round 5. We'll be back. So we're back to the action as we look into the corner of Chris Calvin, really showing some frustration, and his body language suggests that he might be getting worn down by Primo Ramos. His corner just trying to pump him up, but he was really taking some big breaths, and he just has his head down and doesn't show the confidence he had coming into this one. We'll see what happens here as we get ready to start round 6. The North American Boxing Federation lightweight title here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. Round 6 is underway, and Primo Ramos comes out looking fresh. And there's a left hand that has Calvin backing away, and another left hand. Now Primo Ramos starting to open up here. And you can see Primo now with knockout written on those shots. He's starting to let his hands fly. And so Chris Calvin just kind of dives in. Calvin needing to do something here to turn things around. He has not been able to land his big shots. And Primo Ramos is one of the ultimate boxer punchers. Chris Calvin just moving forward and counting on that big knockout power. Now he steps away and tries to lead Ramos into a trap, but it's Primo Ramos letting his hands fly. Oh, and there's a left hand. Good jab, just knocking back the head of Calvin, but Calvin continues to move forward. This is Chris Calvin's first shot at a major title. Again, now it's Ramos out in the center of the ring, in full control. There's a left hand from Ramos, and a right hand follows it. Primo Ramos working good with both hands, throwing that jab out there, and just in control of this one. Calvin continuing to move forward. Not much change in his attack. He's just kind of, now he steps away a little bit. He's just going to have to do something different here, because Primo Ramos now in full control of this one. Primo looks like he's having fun in there right now, actually, as he steps forward, kind of stalking his opponent. There's a right hand that sneaks in now, and he's really starting to damage Calvin. There's some short lefts. Calvin unable to counter Primo Ramos, who just steps forward and stalks him. There's a left hand to the head. Oh, and another left hand to the head. At the bell, that ends the 6th round, and Chris Calvin really starting to get chopped up here. I don't know what answers he might have. I don't know what his corner could be telling him to do differently. As we look into the corner of Primo Ramos. And looks like it's over. I think Chris Calvin's corner says he's had enough. Yep, it's all over. Chris Calvin cannot answer the bell for round 7, so this one will go down as a technical knockout. And a successful title defense for Primo Ramos. Beautiful display of boxing by Primo Ramos in this one. Chris Calvin coming in with the reputation of the knockout artist, but no threat whatsoever to Primo in this one at least. Ramos with a nice fight plan, stuck to the plan, executed the plan, and he's just world class. So a nice win for Primo Ramos. Nothing to hang his head about for Chris Calvin. He gave it all he had. But tonight was not his night, and Primo Ramos remains the NABF lightweight champion. And I'm sure it won't be long until he gets the call for a world title bout. Glad you could join us here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour tonight to see this title fight coming to you from the Lujan building.
Por nocaut técnico en el 7º round y retiene su corona el campeón Primo Ramos.
So the announcement goes. The winner by technical knockout and still NABF champion Primo Ramos. Thanks for joining us, everyone, tonight here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. Good night.